guys later. So today I have a rumble roller, which I recommend picking up. I like to use this every day. You can do all sorts of things with it. So roll out a hamstring, for instance, or you can go for your quads, you can go for your back, well, upper back, and your neck. So I recommend picking this up. This is a fantastic tool, but it can be a bit expensive. This, you can use anything. You can grab a belt, and you can use a belt for this. This is excellent for supporting you while you do the stretches, especially hamstring, which we'll be doing today. As you probably read on the title, we're doing the lower extremity. So you'll be focusing a lot on your legs, your hamstrings, your quadriceps, and your hips for this practice. Sure, we're all good to go. Righty, let's get started then. We're gonna find our way into Shavasana. Yeah, so lying on your back. Breathing in and out. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Taking your time. Taking 4 counts to inhale. Holding for 4 counts. Before exhaling for 4 counts. Winding down and relaxing. Before we begin, inhale, dropping the head down to the left. 3, 4. Inhale back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling back up to the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do this one more time. Exhale to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale back to the center. 2, 3, 4. Exhale to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And inhale, come back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just find your normal breathing again. So now we're going to begin to bring one knee in, then the other, rolling up the back. So, rolling it one way, change your breath, change of direction. So we're going to be going clockwise, and as you change your breath, you'll be going anti-clockwise. So now we're going to begin our first stretch, which is our hamstring. If you have a belt or a strap, you can feel free to use one. If you do not, however, don't worry, you don't need one. We're going to make sure our head and our shoulders are down. Both our legs are down. And I'm just bringing up the left knee. Before lifting up to the sky and either grabbing low down on your hamstring or further up towards your knee joint. We're just going to stretch our hamstring, trying to keep our right leg down. If it is too difficult, you can pick up your right leg. You want to try and straighten it as much as you can. So if you can lower it a bit while straightening it. Be careful not to lock out though. You always want a slight bend in the knee. For me, I'm gonna go grab a strap because I have extremely tight hamstrings. Like I said, you can use a belt or anything like that, anything like a strap related, to be honest. And then you might start quite low, but you can find that eventually you should be able to stretch it back. It normally takes around 20 to 30 seconds before your muscles release and stretches properly. So to have a good effective stretch, you want to hold for at least 20 seconds and try hold to about 30 seconds. Making sure we're breathing as well as we're doing this. And when you're ready, you can begin to untuck the your strap if you're holding one, or if you're not, you can begin to gently lower your left leg back down, planting the foot onto the ground before extending it back out. And when there's a left, there's a right, and when there's a right, there's a left. We're gonna bring in our right foot this time. Our knee comes up. Same thing as before. If you do not have a strap, you just pick up your leg, grabbing the back of your hamstring, either closer towards your sit bones or closer towards your knee joint. You want to make sure that you try to keep your shoulders down as much as you can. For those who are using a strap or a belt or something, you can begin to wrap it around the ball of your foot. And then you can start quite low if you want to, and then you can adjust and bring it even higher. Making sure we're breathing as well. You may find your one side is tighter than the other. Particularly, whichever is your dominant foot tends to be the tighter. Because you use that more, particularly if you play sports like football, where you're kicking a lot. And when you're ready, you can begin to unwrap everything and bring your leg back down. And if you want, you can begin to bring both knees in again, rolling out the back. Once again, change your breath, change your direction. Before we begin, to gently lower your knees to the side of your choice, planting your hands onto the ground and lifting yourself back up into easy pose or crisscross applesauce, sorry. Siri again. Okay. From here, we're going to try and move into staff pose. So, if you do struggle with maintaining a straight back, you can roll up your mat a little bit, or you can grab a cushion to sit on. I wonder if this wire stretches the spot. Oh, it does. Nice. I'm just going to be sat in this kind of position, legs out and straight. Try and have a straight back. If you don't have a straight back, you can bend the knees slightly. Again, you can always use a strap to help yourself out in this situation. At the moment, we're really just focusing on stretching out the hamstring. And breathing, enjoying this moment, really trying to get the muscles to relax and to release, allowing itself to lengthen. The muscles can be very stubborn. They don't like to stretch. And once you're relaxed, you'll find your muscles do stretch a lot easier. A lot of it is the tightness and the tenseness. Then when you're ready, we can begin to unravel ourselves again. Taking any props off to the side, cushion included. That was a terrible throw. No one saw that, right? Now we're just gonna be sat, well, legs crossed, breathing normally. Taking a few breaths. Your hamstrings should already be feeling quite nice and loose after all that. So we're going to do a little bit of a twist. Inhale, arms come above head. Exhale. You're going to twist over to the left. Left hand gets planted behind you. Right arm over your left knee. Making like a corridor effect, starting with your spine, working your way up to your upper back and into your neck. Turning as much as you can, but not forcing anything. Don't want any injuries anyways, so we're going to come back. Inhale, arms come above head. Exhale to the right, so right hand plants down behind your sit bones. Left arm goes over right knee, with your neck and spine twisting to the right. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale to the left again. Make sure we get a nice deep stretch when we twist. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale to the right. You may find that you can look a little bit more, you can twist a little bit more. For inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we're going to bring our legs back in front again. Maybe taking a quick water break as we do so. Oops. Please make sure you keep drinking practice. Very important. We're going to sit with our legs as wide as possible. I'm going to see if we can try and get a forward bend going. For some people, this could be it. You could be like this and you're done. Particularly, I'm very tight, especially for a yoga instructor. So I can't really get much more forward than this at the moment. It'll take quite a lot of stretching and time to be able to get a good bend going. But some of you may be able to bend all the way down as you sit with your legs out super wide. You can put your hands behind you to support you. That will help a lot. Try and keep your feet upright as well as you do so. But it goes to show as well that everybody is different. Not all of us are super flexible. But that is why yoga is a journey. is not something you can just automatically be the most flexible. And that's why we practice and we stretch, so we can be able to get to that level. Maybe eventually you can lean a little bit forward. Make sure you engage that core though. Try and keep that back straight as you do so. You should be able to feel the stretching in your hamstrings and in your hip flexors. When you're happy with that, we can begin to bring our legs back together before we bring around into a cat-cow position. So, I might need to show you from the side. Turn this back around. So we should all meet into a tabletop position. If your knees are talking to you today, or your wrists, you can remain in a seated position, because we're going to do some cat cows. If you did decide to remain in a seated position, you can cat cow by, when you inhale, you lift your chest up, head up, shoulders back, almost squeezing your shoulder blades together. Then when you exhale, you round, tucking the chin to your chest, shoulders come up, rounding the spine. For the rest of us who are into our tabletop positions, we're going to be like this. Shoulders stacked over wrist, hips stacked over knees. And when we inhale, thumb comes up, head comes up, chest comes up, arching the back. And exhale, we round, tucking the chin to chest, shoulder coming up, and rounding the back. Inhale, coming back up to cow. Exhale, back down to cat. Inhale, back up. Exhale, round. We'll do these a couple more times. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, round. Inhale, back up. Exhale, round. We'll do this one more time. Inhale, coming back up. And exhale, round. From here, we are going to move into hero pose. So we're going to be sat on our ankles as much as we can, with our hands placed over our knees. And we're just going to be sat like this. You should really feel that in your quadriceps. If you do need to take breaks, you can come back up a bit. But this really will stretch out your quadricep muscles. This also is good for your ankles as well. You're sitting on your ankles, so it's really good for that. Okay, and then from here, back to a tabletop position, into downward facing dog, lifting up and back, gently doing little steps to keep stretching out that hamstring before we walk up to a forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, round. Before we inhale, come all the way up, arms above head, Exhale, hands to heart center. And from here you can take a quick break if you want to, a quick water break before we move on to our peak. Okay, when we're all ready to go, we're going to meet at the top of our mat. Inhale, arms cover head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, round to the point for your legs. Come all the way back. If you have a lot of energy today, you can do the full sun salutation, where you go down into chaturanga, to upward facing dog, and into downward facing dog. If you didn't do that, then that's fine. We are just meeting in downward facing dog. From here, we're going to lift up our right leg. Exhale, bring it in front of our hands. We're going to dip our knee down at first for a low lunge. Holding this position. From here, we're going to begin to tuck our toe back under, lift ourselves up for a high lunge. So if your knees are talking to you and you can't go into this pose, that's totally fine. You can stay in a low lunge. Notice how my knee and my toes are perfectly aligned. It's not going over. That's a very common mistake of a lunge. It can put a lot of pressure on your knee joints. We can go hands to heart center from here. Gonna hold this position for a few counts of breaths. Before we lower back down to our low lunge again. Whew. Then when you're ready, we can bring our hands back down together, tuck our toe under, lift up, bring it back to downward facing dog. Or if you have a lot of energy, you can go back through the sun salutation cycle again, where you go into chaturanga, up for upward facing dog. Before tucking your toes under again, back into downward facing dog. This time, we're going to lift up our left leg, and we're going to bring it between our hands, dropping the right knee for a nice low lunge position. Come up. Just hold this position for a few breaths. We'll begin to tuck our toes under and lift up for a high lunge position. Make sure our knees is not stacked over our toes. You can have your hands on your hips, hands to heart center, or you can rest on your knee if you want to. You may find one side is harder than another. Any point you can drop your knee back down if you prefer. And when you're ready, you can begin to dip your knee back down to a low lunge position before bringing up and back to downward facing dog. This time we're going to drop our knees down and find ourselves into a child's pose. A good hip opener. You can either lay in extended child's pose, or you can bring your arms back for the more traditional child's pose. Whichever you prefer. And you can always go back and forward until you find the one that is more comfortable for you. Then when you're ready, you can begin to lift yourself out of child's pose. Before we extend our legs, lowering ourselves all the way down to the ground. From here you have a choice. You can either bring your elbows and your hands for a more restorative stretch known as Sphinx pose. Or, if you prefer, you can bring your whole body down, arms back, legs coming up, head coming up for locust pose. Or you can even do little intervals. You can go from Sphinx pose to locust pose. We're just going to hold for a few counts of breaths. Before you can lower yourselves all the way back down. Picking ourselves back up to a tabletop position. For tucking our toes under once again, lifting ourselves up and back for downward facing dog. This time we're going to lift up our right leg, bring it just behind our left palm, left hand, before falling into pigeon pose. So you can either do a high pigeon or you can sink down low for a lower pigeon, whichever is more comfortable for you. When you're ready, you can bring yourself back up. Unravel yourself back to downward facing dog. For lifting up left leg, bringing it behind the palms. And sinking lower into another pigeon pose. When you're ready, you begin to unravel yourself again back into downward facing dog, while dropping the knees down back into another child's pose. Now we can begin to lift ourselves back out, leaning onto our left side, bringing our legs back round to the front. Just to my mat. It's a daisy. Before we gently lower ourselves back down to the ground. tucking our knees up to our chest. Bring our arms up to the side or cactusing up, dropping our knees to the left. Either looking towards the knee or you can look away from the knees for a deeper stretch. Inhale, knees come back up. Exhale to the right. Again, either looking towards your knees or the opposite if you prefer a deeper stretch. And when you're ready, inhale, bring your knees back up to the center and just roll around once again. Change your breath, change your direction. And then when you're ready, you can do any other asana you want to for your practice before we all meet into Shavasana or corpse pose. Surrendering to the weight of your mat, palms facing up. Legs, knees shoulder width apart. Allowing the eyes to gently close. Before breathing in and out nice and slowly. Listening to the sound of my voice, the music, or nature which is going on outside. To take good care of ourselves, we must go back and take care of the wounded child inside of us. You have to practice going back to your wounded child every day. You have to embrace him or her tenderly like a big brother or a big sister. You have to talk to him, talk to her, and you can write a letter to the little child in you of 2 or 3 pages so that you recognize his or her presence, and will do everything you can to heal his or her wounds. If you do not know how to take care of yourself and the violence in you, then you will not be able to take care of others. You must have love and patience before you can truly listen to your partner or child. If you are irritated, you cannot listen. You have to know how to breathe mindfully. Embrace your irritation and transform it. Offer only understand and compassion to your partner or child. This is the true patience of love. The bad things, don't do them. The good things, try to do them. Try to purify and subdue your own mind. That is the teaching of all Buddhas. That's a quote by Thich Nhat Hanh. So we're going to begin to bring awareness back. With your eyes still closed, picture the room around you. Picture all your furniture, your pets, or any other members. Then gently begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe gently rocking the head side to side, before picking one knee in and then the other, dropping it to the side of your choice, taking this time for yourself. And only when you're ready, you can begin to lift yourself up back into a seated position with your eyes still closed, hands coming to heart center. Thank you so much for allowing me to share your yoga journey with you. The light in me honors the light that shines in every one of you. Namaste. Okay, thank you so much everyone for taking part. Thank you to all the new followers. Be sure to keep sharing the stream with all your friends and to keep promoting it as much as you can so many people can benefit. Thank you for all the comments. Wish me good morning, and good morning to you all, or good evening if you are watching from the UK. I sometimes forget, I'm always quite tired like I start these streams. I hope that you feel nice and loose and that this flexibility practice was good for you. If it did help you, be sure to let people know about this flexibility practice. I know there's a very common problem, myself included, so let other people know that they can get a bit more flexibility in them. This video will be available forever, really, however long the YouTube channel and the Facebook page is up. Anyway, on that note, guys, enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch you Monday for a workout session. Catch you then. Oh, apparently we froze. It's okay.